You're listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast network.
You're listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the most listened to daily Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet. Come on, Dolphins fans. Time to fins up.
All right, Miami! Miami's got the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. Hey, when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl. 'Cause we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins number one. Miami Dolphins.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for listening to another episode of the DolphinsTalk.com podcast. I am your host, Michael Leva, joined by our very own Marisa Marino, and we have a very special guest today. He is the co-host of the Beadle and Decker show, which can be heard every day on SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, channel 82 from noon to 3 p.m. Former Major League Baseball player Cody Decker. Cody, how you doing today?
I am great. Looking forward to talk some Dolphins, people. Let's go. Go Fins.
Let's go. It's our year. Hopefully, maybe.
Maybe. Probably not,
Maybe.
though. But maybe.
Well, we're staying optimistic. It's May. That's
Hey,
all I'm going to say.
At the end of the day, you're in a division that's winnable, and you're in a division where everybody, with the exception of
One.
maybe the Jets, if you believe the hype, which I do not,
I love that.
everybody got worse. The Jets are probably just going to beat the Jets. Don't worry. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and that leads me to my first question, which sort of ties into the Jets.
Uh-huh.
You were a professional Major League Baseball player. You traveled the world playing baseball.
Mhm.
What was more difficult in your career, hitting a baseball or working with Craig Carton?
Hitting a baseball. Working with Craig was a shockingly easy job. And I love Craig Carton to death, man. But
I do too.
dude,
he's
he's the best. He's the absolute best. Honest to God, no one person in my career, I'll even go as far as say life, has had a bigger impact on me than Craig Carton. He for whatever reason, took a liking to me years ago, was adamant that he wanted me to this co-host on the Fox Sports job. And,
Yep.
He moved me to New York where I live now. I'm 2 years running. And honest to God, if it weren't for Craig Carton, who knows where I'd be? Probably dead.
Yeah, I think his story actually is really good. I wouldn't be shocked if they actually make a movie of it someday, and I'm not just saying that because, I never like to judge people on their worst day.
Yeah.
And he had his issues. He served his time. And now it's a redemption story
It is.
of where he's come back. And in fact, he's helping people who had the same issue he had as well. And is very interested in that. I find that amazing. I joke around with him. He mentions me on the Fox Sports show sometimes in our website and our Twitter handle when he's ragging on the Dolphins. And I love the shout outs, even when he's saying stuff bad about the Dolphins. But truly the story at the core of it, I think, is really amazing.
Yeah, and honestly, I know Craig very well. He's like a brother to me at this point.
Yeah.
When I tell you, I have never met a better person, a more genuine guy, someone who is just always there. Honestly, has been there for me for every little situation. There are not enough words in the English language to tell you how much I love and appreciate Craig Carton. I'm not on the show anymore, so I don't watch.
I know. I still watch them.
You're like, I'm not getting
the
paid
same
to
without
say
you.
this. I
Yeah,
promise.
no. I'm not on the show anymore, and I don't watch the
I know.
show anymore because I ain't
Oh,
on
you
it. But I will
don't
tell
even
you.
watch it anymore.
No,
Yeah.
why would I watch it? I watched it because I was on it, not because Craig was on it.
Yeah, it is funny. And I want to get Craig on here sometime. Maybe the week we play the Jets to talk Dolphins Jets, but that's a different story for a different day. Talking about becoming a broadcaster, was that something you always wanted to do after your playing career, or was it something you sort of fell into? What were the aspirations, and who helped you other than Craig along
funny.
that way? Yeah.
It's very funny. You look at my stats and my career. I'm not exactly the guy you would think would be in the media, specifically in the spots that I've been. I've been working for MLB Network, Fox Sports 1 in very, very high profile spots, which is a guy that spent 20 days in the big leagues normally doesn't get that opportunity. So I'm a kind of a rare exception to the rule. I grew up in Los Angeles, California, specifically Santa Monica. I was part of a theater company growing up. I starred in musicals and plays. And by the time I was 18 years old, it was either I was going to go full tilt into acting or I was going to go full tilt into baseball at UCLA. I already signed my letter of intent to go to UCLA under a scholarship to play baseball there. And it was looking like I was going to be drafted maybe in the top 10 rounds out of high school. Then it ended up, I didn't get drafted out of high school and I went to UCLA, had a great career there. But I also, when I was in high school, was a regular on a radio program in Los Angeles on KLOS called Mark and Brian. And
I remember them.
From the age of 13 till 19, I was a weekly, if not almost daily caller. And they had no idea that I was 13 to 18. They thought I was a 35-year-old man. And one member of the show was a friend of mine that I used to work out at the gym with. And he kind of broke my anonymity one day and told them who I was. And they were kind of blown away by the entire scenario to the point where they started having me work for him during the off seasons. And now I'm 18 years old and it's a summer and I'm now spending time doing a makeshift internship at KLOS for Mark and Brian. And then I ended up getting drafted by the Padres in the offseason. Mark started a new show for Mark and Brian and he brought me in to be a full-time sports guy for them. And, it came to the point where when I was playing, I started making all these viral videos because quite frankly, I was bored and the Padres didn't know what to do with me because all I kept doing was like hitting home runs and like, you're not supposed to be doing this. We want to fire you, but we cannot fire you because you keep putting up numbers and breaking records. I said, well, too bad. I guess you should not fire me then and call me to the big leagues. And they said, that's a great idea. We'll keep you in AAA forever. And that's what they did. And then it was a good run, but I started getting bored because they would send down a guy from the big leagues who played my position and I'd be sitting for 2 weeks. And I'm like, I have 25 home runs. I'm hitting like 280 and I should be getting called up to the big leagues. Instead, I'm benched for 2 weeks. So I just decided to put my film school knowledge to use and I would make a viral video of some kind. I didn't know it was going to go viral. It just became a thing. I would play pranks on guys, make short little films. And at the time, the Padres seemed very much like they liked it. And then all of a sudden, they acted like they didn't like it. But then all of a sudden, Keith Olbermann would get his hands on it. And Keith kind of took me under his wing when he was at ESPN at the time. And he would have me on the show once a week back then. And it was pretty much a guarantee that everyone was basically telling me that, what are you even doing wasting your time playing baseball? Like, stop and get into this now. I'm like, but I just got to the big leagues. Why would I quit now? Like the Padres called me up, didn't play me. And then at the end of the season, like, we'd like you to take over our pregame television show. I'm like, I just got up. No. And that became a long-term question every few weeks. Like, you sure you don't want to retire? I should have read the tea leaves. They really didn't want me to play anymore. So I ended up playing for another 6 years and every organization under the sun, and while still making films and doing all my radio stuff. And I knew I was just biding my time before it was time to go back. And by the way, if you're wondering why I went baseball instead of acting, I'm 37 now, and I look exactly pretty much what I expected that I would look like at 37. I was really handsome at 18. And I knew for a fact that was not going to last forever. So I'm like, yeah, let's bank on the baseball thing. That seems a little smarter.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and the other guys that helped me, like Mike D was the president of the Padres at the time. He's
worked for the Dolphins, actually.
He worked for the Dolphins as well. Yeah. And actually, it was Mike D, of all people, who actually got me to retire. He called me in, and during when I was with the Diamondbacks, I was in AAA with the Diamondbacks. He called me and said, I have a show idea for you. And there was a guy named Bob Menery, if you remember Bob Menery. Bob Menery became like the voice of Buffalo Wild Wings for a little bit. He made those viral videos, and his idea was he wanted to put me with Bob Menery, and he flew me out to Boston. I did a pilot with Bob, and Bob was great, but I was just like, I don't know if this is going to work, and it was a nice idea. And then 2 weeks later, I had an offer in my hands from Mike D and Entercom at the time, and it was an offer that I just simply couldn't refuse. I said, okay, I guess I'm hanging him up. I'm going to become a full-time broadcaster, and the rest is history. And that's when Craig eventually saw me by pure happenstance. And now Craig's like a family member. And now I'm in New York doing all these things with, Michelle Beadle, who is as easy as Craig was as a co-host. Michelle Beadle's even easier.
She's really good.
Oh my God.
She's really good.
It's the easiest job I've ever had. I've never had more fun in my life than working with Michelle.
I absolutely love that. I'm so glad that you went the sports talk route, because I actually don't watch baseball. I'm a basketball and football gal, so at least I get to enjoy your shows, which is
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
So,
And I'm not going to lie to you. Baseball, I mean, I could talk baseball all day long, but the truth is, I don't love talking baseball all day long. You know,
right.
baseball's a great sport. I love it. It's my love, but I'd much rather honestly sit around and talk about the Raiders or the Lakers for 3.5 hours, which I do.
Well, we love that. So, as someone who on Mad Dog Radio, I mean, you're talking about all the teams in all of the sports. What is your view on the Miami Dolphins heading into this 2024 season? And are you someone who believes that Tua can lead this team deep into a playoff run?
I do. I don't think Tua is a top tier quarterback in the NFL. I think he's a mid-tier quarterback in the NFL, which is, by the way, not in any way, shape, or form a knock on the guy. Those top tier quarterbacks is 2, 3, maybe 4 guys in this generation, not just the guys that are playing now. Like, you know, the Patrick Mahomes of the world are in their own echelon. The Lamar Jacksons of the world, I'd even put them in their own echelon. Where, you know, Tua's kind of around that Jared Goff area, which is not a bad place to be. That Kirk Cousins area. He's efficient. He gets the plays done. Does he have the powerful arm? Everyone keeps telling me no, but every time I even did this with Craig, and I'm not kidding. Craig one day is like, he's got a weak.
Hated it.
Oh, he's like, Cody, he's got a weak arm. I'm like, Craig. And I eventually, we did this on the air, I think, and we flipped it and had him just made it look like it was a mirror shot. He's throwing right-handed. Like, does that look weird to you? He's like, no, actually, that looks kind of good. I'm like, his arm's fine. There's nothing wrong with his arm. He's just left-handed and it looks weird.
I love that. So actually, I did something similar. Tua threw just a deep bomb to Tyreek Hill. And I posted on Twitter, I was like, there's Tua throwing those 2-yard passes to Tyreek Hill. I mean, another one.
I made the joke last year, like, you know, like, yeah, Tyreek Hill, you know, he's running more yards than everybody else. He's catching deeper passes. And just think how many yards it would actually count if you counted the yards he had to run back to catch Tua's passes and run him back out.
I love that. So you can see Tua leading this team into a playoff run because it's been a while for us.
I know it has. And yes, I do. At the end of the day, your division is you guys, the Patriots, who are not going to compete this year. And if they do, it would be a miracle. The Bills will still be, I think your competition is still the Bills at the end of the day. And they have significantly, based on paper, at least right now, have taken 2 to 3 steps backwards all of a sudden. So you guys standing pat. And then who knows, adding Odell Beckham Jr., that could just be something that just draws coverage, if anything else, to open up the field a little bit more. More targets out there for Tua is not a bad thing. And again, Tua is an efficient passer. That is the most I can ask of anybody in the NFL at this point. Trust me, I'm going into my season as a Raider fan looking forward to Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. I would much rather have Tua.
Yeah.
You got Christian Wilkins from us, though, so.
Well,
I was about to say, so I'm going to one game this season down in South Florida, and I'm going to the Dolphins-Raiders game because I am so amped to see the return of Christian Wilkins and how that pans out. So, all right, so moving on, Mike McDaniel, as we all know, he is not your typical coach. He's got the fashion, the swag, the sneakers, you know, press conferences. He's always cracking jokes. During your baseball career, did you ever have a manager who just was not your typical MLB manager and was just very unique, kind of like how Mike McDaniel is in the NFL?
He's a big league manager right now, Pat Murphy of the Milwaukee Brewers. Pat Murphy was my manager for 3 years in AAA. I don't love Pat Murphy. I'm going to rephrase it. I like Pat Murphy. I like Pat Murphy a lot. And Pat Murphy is a very, 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 very bright, smart guy and knows how to get the very best out of his players. It's something that he is stupendously good at. I don't know how he got good at it. He just got good at reading people. And I don't know when he learned how to read people. He never took a day seriously my entire 3 years with him. He was my big league manager for that matter, I should say, when I got called up. He was quirky. He was funny. He made guys just honestly, he would talk down to us, but in a way to inspire us. So like, it was a very unique thing. He didn't have the swag. He didn't have the shoes. He didn't have like the cool kind of like out of nowhere weird jabs back at the media. He would be a little more direct with his cunning comments. He would be something like, listen, guys, all of you guys, you have to understand, the organization doesn't care about any one of you. You are all so ungodly expendable. And you pause and you're just like, I'm in the same boat as you guys are. Like, don't think for a second they care about me either. So you know what we need to do as a group? We need to be uncommon. We got to be different than these guys. And that's what we're going to do together. I'm going to try to make you better, and you guys need to try to make me better. And I looked at him and like, this is AAA. This is a group of guys that are all miserable for being stuck in AAA, a bunch of veteran dudes. But there was something about just hearing Pat Murphy say that, going like, I dig this. I dig what he's doing. I see what he's doing. It's pathetic manipulation, but boy, do I dig that he's trying, and it's working a little bit. And it worked on me, not in that I'm like, oh yeah, Murph, whatever you say, I'm going to do it. It was more like it worked on me. It's like the cojones on this guy to even try this. I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of Hard Knocks, watching Mike McDaniel running around the practice field talking trash to the defense, going to the secondary. My wide receivers are going to eat you up today, guys. You guys got like just doing that kind of stuff. It sounds very similar, actually. And it's that, you know, you're not going to see Andy Reid do that and see Bill Belichick do that. Mike McDaniel, you can see doing that.
Yeah, and you know what? There's no. I hate that people are like, oh, because he gets a lot of flack, Mike McDaniel, and I understand why, because it's different.
It's different.
It's different. He's young. He's kind of in your face. He will snap back at you on occasions, which I kind of dig. I appreciate a head coach that's human. How about that? And I think everybody's been so locked into the Bill Belichick's of the world and the Bill Parcells of the world, where everything has to be. And quite frankly, that's not how the world works anymore. That's sure as hell not how sports is going right now.
Well, and as we saw too, I mean, clearly Tua needed somebody who brought that sort of personality and that, you know, I'm your big brother sort of feel to Tua, because he's brought out the best in Tua. And so clearly it's worked really well for the Dolphins. So looking at this AFC East with Buffalo and the New York Jets, which one of these teams do you think has had the best offseason and is in the best shape going into this 2024 season?
Those are two different questions, so I will answer them both one at a time. Who had the best offseason of those two teams? It's clearly the Jets on paper, and that's why I want to specify on paper. I fell for this last year. You're not getting me again. No. I understand on paper, but if I'm looking on paper and I'm basing this entire season around a 40-year-old quarterback who will turn 41, who hasn't actually played a legitimately significant down now in 2 seasons, and he's playing on a brand new reconstructed Achilles, listen, this is going to be more of a wait and see rather than me taking a flyer on the Jets. And again, they fooled me last year. You are not doing this again. To me, this is the Dolphins and the Bills division right now until the Jets prove otherwise. And they're the Jets. They never prove otherwise.
Black cloud. They got a black cloud over their head that ain't going away.
I don't believe in ghosts, but maybe I do.
Joe Namath made a deal with the devil that they are never going to live down. And it's like, unfortunately, I mean, for us, it's great, but not that we've had a ton of success either. Not that we have.
True.
We're watching, you know what? Misery loves company. Welcome to the club, guys. You're just with us.
Yeah, come on over here. The water's fine.
Exactly.
At least
At
least your weather's better.
Like, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Income tax, the whole thing. We got
you got some pluses.
We've got to find the perks where we can.
Yep. Talking a little bit about baseball. I'm a Yankees fan. It's May. Dude. Are we going to come out of the AL this year, you think? And is there any chance we can keep Juan Soto beyond this year, or is Scott Boras going to just move him to a team that's going to grossly overpay?
Honest to God, I don't know what team can grossly overpay more than the Yankees.
The Mets, I think, could have. Is the team.
They can.
I don't know if they want to.
I don't see a world where the Mets are in on Juan Soto, and here's why.
Why would he leave?
No, I don't think he's leaving New York. I think Juan Soto has found his home. Keep in mind, John Heyman just reported as recently as yesterday that Juan Soto turned down 7 different contract extensions before he even got to the Yankees. Now, I don't think he specified if any of those were from the Padres, but he did very much specify the 15-year deal for $450 million from the Nationals and another couple other $450 million deals from the Nationals. Listen, Juan Soto is home. Juan Soto is the perfect perfect Yankee. And I love this Yankee team. In fact, I used to always, hammer and crap on every Yankee team that I ever saw because there's something about the Yankees I couldn't stand. And it wasn't that they were good. It's that they were stuffy and no fun.
Yep.
That is not this team. This team is a blast to watch. Like looking at Marcus Stroman in the dugout, rocking a t-shirt and a bandana. I'm like, this ain't my dad's Yankees. Let's go. This is the team I want to kind of root for. Giancarlo Stanton looks like he's having the time of his life. Aaron Judge is back to being Aaron Judge. And they're doing all of this as well. Garrett Cole. Man, the Yankees, I truly think, are the best team in the American League. And if they don't go to the World Series, something went wrong somewhere. And that's the thing. It's always been the injury bug that gets them. That's why the Juan Soto signing was such a huge pickup, because Juan Soto played. Exactly. He played 162 games last year.
Actually play.
Yeah.
We got two outfielders who can play every game. And, Judge is going to miss his time. That's fine. Stanton's always hurt. LeMahieu's always hurt. Like, they got a bunch of guys who are always hurt. But now we got two guys who actually you can put in the lineup every day and not have to worry about it.
And you got Juan Soto, who's got an on-base percentage of over 400 because he's already walked 35 times. Trust me, Aaron Judge is just sitting there like, I got this guy on base all the time. My life is great. And I truly think the Yankees are the best team in the American League. I think this is a year to absolutely put money on a Yankee-Dodger World Series, which has been my dream since I was a child.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. It's been a long time, too, because I know they played like in the early 80s. I was like
81 was the last one.
81. Yeah, it's been a long time. That would actually put Major League Baseball on the front pages, even above the NFL, for like a short amount of time, because those are your two powerhouse cities, teams, Broadway. I was looking at your career, and you played for obviously for a lot of teams. And I am in Syracuse, New York, born and raised in Syracuse. You played for, I think, the team with the greatest team name ever, the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. Is the Rumble Ponies not the best sports team name maybe in the history of sports?
One of the better ones. But to be fair, I was only a Rumble Pony for roughly 2 weeks.
Oh, it was only 2 weeks? Okay.
It wasn't long, but I will tell you this. Binghamton. Not the best place. Not my favorite.
Not a lot going on in Binghamton.
I
do admit.
I didn't.
Binghamton makes Syracuse looks like Manhattan, okay?
I did nothing for 3 weeks in Binghamton. It was misery. But the Rumble Ponies, that's up there with one of the good names. You got the Rumble Ponies. You got the Trash Pandas is a good one.
That's a
the
good
Rock
one.
City Trash Panda. I played for the El Paso Chihuahuas. It was awesome being a Chihuahua. I was an Albuquerque Isotope for a little bit.
That's nice.
God. What's the most ridiculous team name I have?
AHL hockey has the Albany River Rats, which I think is a great name as well.
Name.
River Rats.
That's
up there.
I honestly, what my personal favorite one is, and I'll never forgive the Yankees for this, because the Yankees, when they had the Staten Island Yankees, they changed their name to the Pizza Rats for about 3 weeks. That's the most New York baseball team name possible.
Hey,
yes.
Get some pizza. Let's go. I'm going to the game. Get a slice. No hot dog served here. Get pizza.
Oh my goodness, you guys. So I lived in Greensboro, North Carolina for a while, and we had the Greensboro Grasshoppers. I mean, really the grasshopper? That was pretty bad.
That must be some mascot you got there.
Right, yeah. And then to comment on the Yankees, you guys, literally my knowledge of the Yankees comes from Seinfeld, which was in the 90s, and that's all I know about the Yankees. So that's why I was very quiet during that segment, because I feel like any information I would be providing is very outdated at this point. So
George Costanza doesn't work for him.
George Costanza, Derek Jeter, and Paul O'Neill are never out of favor if we're talking Yankees.
Okay. Well,
Paul O'Neill's not a home run hitter either.
Okay.
Paul O'Neill wasn't a home run hitter. So
that's great to know. Moving back into my area, which is football. So we're going to leave Kansas City out, as we know how great they are with Mahomes. What are a couple of teams you think may make a serious run at the Super Bowl this year?
I mean, it's hard to not immediately look over at Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, even though they had the early exit this year. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Lamar Jackson. He's gotten a litany of targets, and he's also lost 10 pounds. And for his words saying, I've lost this weight so I could be more agile. I'm sorry. Have we been looking at the fat and slow Lamar Jackson for the last couple of years? Dear God, what are you going to do now? 2-time MVP looking to get his third already. I'm not a big believer in the Joe Burrow-led Bengals. I could be proven wrong as time goes forward, but the teams I'm looking for, Baltimore Ravens, and on the NFC side, I think it's the Detroit Lions time. I really, really do. Now, part of that might be my heart because I fell in love with them in Hard Knocks just like everybody else did. I love the hard-nosed behavior of this team. I love the story that is Jared Goff since he got basically discarded from LA. He was sent to Detroit to die. And what he's done is take the ball and run with it in a way that I don't think any quarterback in the history of the NFL has ever done in this particular scenario. So I think that the Detroit Lions, their time has finally arrived. And a team that really intrigues me this year, and I have no idea what they're going to be, and I'd be absolutely false by immediately putting a stamp of approval saying, yeah, they're a Super Bowl contender. I just think they're interesting, and I can't wait to see what they do. I have no idea what we're going to get out of Pittsburgh, and I'm fascinated by the Pittsburgh Steelers right now.
Tough division, though. That's the problem.
It's a very tough division, but this was a playoff team last year with the quarterback litany that they had last year, and now if you can get honestly, if you can get the Russell Wilson that Denver had last year, which, by the way, was not a bad version not a bad version of Russell Wilson, or you get a better version of Russ, and maybe Justin Fields becomes the guy that a lot of people, including myself, thinks he can become. The Steelers are a unique team, especially with that defense.
Yeah. I think those are the teams that are going to be in the mix. And there's always a team that surprises each year. I'm going to be interested in Cleveland because Cleveland, once again, it's such a tough division. It's tough to almost pick anyone in that division outside of Baltimore, maybe, because Cleveland last year went through all their quarterbacks. Yep. They went through all their running backs. And they just kept coming week after week with a super great defense. They can run the ball. They're tough. They're physical. The head coach is smart. If they can just stay healthy, catch a few breaks, that's a team that nobody talks about. And I know nobody likes the quarterback for all the reasons we all know. But just might be good at the end of the day and just surprise everyone. And because they're flying so far under the radar, I think that's a team who could surprise in 2024.
You're right, but the fact that Deshaun Watson tattooed on his back a full-size Super Bowl ring that is currently
don't touch
blank.
The money. Yeah, it's bad.
Buddy, I hope that thing remains blank for the rest of your life so I can laugh at you for the rest of my life.
I know.
It's kind of like why you don't get your significant other's name tattooed on you. It's the same thing. Once you do it, it's done. The relationship is over.
Yep.
It's not good. Yeah,
it's not why I got all the cover-up work, but maybe it is.
Cody, thank you so much for a few moments of your time. Everyone, be sure to watch or listen to, I should say, Beadle and Decker on SiriusXM Mad Dog Radio channel 82 every day between noon to 3 p.m. Eastern. Follow Cody on Twitter at Decker6 and on Instagram at great Instagram handle Antihero Baseball. And this was fun.
Is that a Taylor Swift?
You know what? I'm a Swiftie, so I will allow her to steal my moniker that I've had for the last 17 years. But you know what? If it's good enough for Taylor Swift, it's good enough for anybody.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the next time we have you on, I want to have a conversation because I saw online that you don't like, you hate the movie Field of Dreams, I believe.
It's
okay. We're going to have a spirit because you're nuts. If you think that, you're nuts. We will have a spirited debate on the movie Field of Dreams. I know there are flaws. Shoeless Joe Jackson bats right-handed, and he's Italian. I get it. Most people watching either wouldn't know that or were never alive to watch him play like me. I get it that you got, farmland where they plow a couple acres. Now the family's broke. Makes no sense. I get it. I also get it. I mean, but it's like, it's TV and movies. Some things you just got to get past. Like the sitcom Alice. Has 6 tables in the diner, 3 waitresses. Makes no sense. I can get past it. And some things I know there's a kidnapping in the movie as well, which makes no sense.
Thank you. I was waiting for that to be mentioned.
It's a movie about the love of baseball, a father's love of his son, and having that one final moment, even though the guy's dead. I get it. But, it's got great moments. The James Earl Jones speech is amazing.
I have a problem with that one too.
That's a great movie.
Okay, so I'm going to leave you with this thought, and I just wanted to marinate. I want it to be in the back of your head. For the next time we do this, when we have this spirited debate that I will undoubtedly win, because I'm just going to put this in the back of your head right now, and I want it to stew for a while. Wouldn't the better movie be Field of Dreams 2, which is actually just a courtroom drama where Kevin Costner is trying his very best to explain to the jury, Your Honor, I swear to God, he walked into the cornfield, the man I kidnapped, and disappeared. It was magical. That man's going to prison for 150 years, Mike. The movie is unwatchable.
It's going to a psych ward, not prison. But I get it. There are some things you have to look. I will say the best line in the movie when Shoeless Joe Jackson, Ray Liotta, says they wouldn't invite Ty Cobb because they thought he was a prick when he was alive.
That's a good line. That's a good line. It's a good line.
That's a good line.
But
yes, that's a good line.
But
So do I need to? I've never seen this movie.
You've never seen
Marisa?
Marisa.
Do I need to watch this tonight? Is this like
no, not tonight, but soon.
Just watch it sometime so you can understand that baseball is so much better than this movie portrays.
Okay. I'm gonna jot that down.
We are gonna talk about this over the further date for sure, and I'll come more prepared even. But yes, I saw that online. Cody hates Field of Dreams. Nobody hates Field. Okay.
You'd be shocked. You'd be shocked, Mike. There's a growing community that I'm leading.
Oh God. Okay, Cody. Thanks so much again.
Thanks,
have a great
Cody.
holiday weekend, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again down the road.
I look forward to it. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Thanks.